Hello, you are listening to the Childcare Director's Chair podcast. Your host, Erica Sacosio, invites you to join her community of passionate and inspiring leaders in the ECE field, where she discusses, reflects, and shares the best ways to invest in our children, families, teachers, and community. Because after all, we know they are the heartbeat of any successful program.
Hey guys, it's Erica here with the Childcare Director's Chair podcast. If you are passionate about nurturing young minds and looking for ways to market your program on a tight budget, this episode is for you. We are joined with the wonderful Robert Hill from Georgia, our friends in Georgia. So we are super excited you are with us today. We're going to help you uncover how you can effectively market your childcare business on a shoestring budget, because let's face it, most of us are on that. And if you have lots of money, sure, throw some my way. But in today's episode, we are going to talk a little bit about how he has used marketing to build not only his childcare center, but help other childcare centers build their marketing to continue to increase enrollment at their centers. Some of you are struggling with enrollment. Some of you are really working with how do I manage a wait list? And some of you really just want to make sure that you have a good digital presence out in the world of social media and all the places, because we know that's where families find us most, or when they Google us or Bing us or Yelp us or whatever platform they decide they're going to use. And don't forget about those voice gadgets now, because I know a lot of people are starting to talk into their Alexa, find me a childcare center, right? So don't forget about those too. So we are going to help you with so many different areas, defining your goals, identifying your audience, and learn how to set achievable marketing goals, because you have to have a goal. It isn't just about posting endlessly and wondering why you're not getting any return. So welcome to the show, Robert.
Thanks, man. It's always a pleasure. And again, your content is phenomenal. So I always have a phenomenal time every time I fall into your episodes, and I get lost for a couple hours. So it's appreciated.
Well, thank you for joining me. I love it. So let's go right into everybody's favorite, social media. So how can we master social media marketing? Maybe discover, cost-effective ways to leverage platforms like Facebook or Instagram so we can boost that engagement and visibility. Talk to us a little bit about that.
So I would more than likely go off of one easy statistic. 92% of content that is consumed is of videos. So if you are putting out stills or images of things, they're probably getting 1 to 2 likes. Also, I want to set expectations for the early childcare market. If you have a center of 50, capacity of 50, or capacity of 200, 2x that, and that is viral for you. So if you have a center of 50 children capacity, that means you have 100 parents that could be going to your facility. Then if 200 you get 200 likes, that is a big deal. It doesn't have to be these super viral things that we see going 1 million views for some AI video. Set your expectations a little lighter, because, if we have 5 children come in, that can change the overall dynamic of our center and change the whole classroom.
I don't mean to cut you off. Let's stop right there, because that nugget alone I need for people to sink in, okay? Likes don't pay your electric bill. Children and families pay your bill. And if you get 1 child, what's the math on that? 1 child.
I mean, 1 is like 10,000 for the year.
There you go. So 1 like it could be $10,000 for you. So again, because trust me, I have been tempted, because I have a YouTube channel, if you don't know, to put my cat on there so I can get 1 million views, because the cats get 1 million views. But at the end of the day, my goal is not to service the cat industry, right? But you're right. So yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I just, because we drop so many nuggets on this show, and sometimes, because it's just bomb after bomb, like we'll just glance over it. So keep in mind, not about the likes, but the engagement of your goal is to get someone to pick up the phone, and then you're going to answer, pick up the phone, call you, book a tour, and close the tour. That's your goal, to enroll children.
Also, Google, in one of their most latest updates, they look at, because they're analyzing AI, and they're analyzing things that come in from AI produced articles and content. So you don't want to just go to ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude and say, hey, write me an article about this. You may want to have AI polish it, but you want it to be a natural and organic thing that you're talking through. And that also will help boost your productivity. Also, if every childcare owner can look at their Google business rankings and also their Google My Business settings, that is one of the easiest way to make sure you're getting calls and make sure you're getting enrollment. Because out of the 7 centers that we have, we probably average 1 to 3 calls a day for enrollment.
Okay. So here's some other things I want to add to that. Not only look at your rankings, I'm ranked very high. So I'm gonna play my hand. I rank very, very high. I think that has a lot to do with my reviews. I have not updated my page in a hot minute, and I need to. I know I need to. I know I have new pictures up there. So not only look at your ranking, but keep it updated, keep it fresh. I think that that's also equally important. And I wanted to go back to something too that when we were talking about the social media piece, if you are full, that doesn't mean stop marketing, right? We want to make sure that we're marketing. And the other thing I think that we could be a little guilty of is it's always like, now enrolling. I have people on my page whose kids have outgrown my program for years. The kids are like 20 years old. They're still on my page. Make sure that the content that you're putting on there is helpful, useful, and engaging as well. Because if I'm already enrolled in your program, why would I go to your social media page if all it is now enrolling? I'm already enrolled. Why would I go there? Right? So make sure that you're sharing some things that are going on in the program, things that you're doing for the community. So an example would be like today, it's September 11th. Every year since we've opened, we make cards for the firemen in our neighborhood, and then we drop off goodies and the cards to the firemen every year since we've opened, right? That's the kind of things that those are the kind of things that you want to share with your families too, like the good work that you're doing. And that's just one of a billion examples, but there's a lot of ways to get people interested in your program beyond the now enrolling type of stuff on your social media.
Well, the one thing is that a lot of Gary V or Gary Van.
Oh, Gary V.
Okay.
I love Gary V.
I'm not going to talk like Gary, but he made one comment that really resonated for me was, you are the content. And we have really, really, really great marketers that are in our center. They're about this tall and they say the darndest things and they do the darndest things. And if you have the video privileges because like for my centers, I have one advertising Facebook page and Instagram that I put stills on and advertise to, but our child center pages, I don't advertise. So I don't push the children out there and like pimp them out for their cuteness, but that's for parents and grandparents to share. And so when they send it to their grandparent, say, oh, look at Johnny and what Johnny's doing today, or he had a great time doing an art activity and had paint all over his face. Those are the things that are really great for engagement. And so you want to realize that you don't have to be a great marketer. You have great people, and these children, you could put them on the artwork that they have, letting people, bringing awareness to your program, and that shows people what you're doing. And because parents do look at, when you say, oh, it's been 4 years since you posted on your social media, they're saying, well, what have you done? They don't know what you've done. So they're asking questions. And so that is also an easy way to post. And, if you take a picture, post it and say happy, and just as simply as it goes, describe what that picture says. If, hey, we're making Play-Doh today. That's it. It doesn't have to be anything else. And keep it moving. If you have the luxury of being able to record a child saying something and how that child felt about it, that awareness is going to be a phenomenal aspect to bringing more awareness to your program so that the community is seeing it locally.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Have you been wondering how to quit your job and start a business? I'm Shannon Russell, career transition coach and host of this new limited series podcast called How to Quit Your Job and Start a Business. This 20-episode series walks you through step-by-step how to go from employee to entrepreneur. Plus, I have a free workbook designed to help you take action while you listen. Go to secondactsuccess.co/listen to grab this free tool. I can't wait to share it with you.
Yeah. We use a internal app to do what you're talking about just for our families. And I think, oh my gosh, there's so many things I think about that, but really pay attention to all of your families for sure. But those new families who come in really always want to be reassured, did they make the right choice? Because picking a childcare center is hard, especially if they don't know you yet. Once you have a real good rapport with your families and they've been there for a while, then, you can mess up, lose a sock, they forgive you. But those new families, no, really. You know what I'm talking about, Robin. You got a lot of centers. Don't tell me you never heard about the lost sock, right? Right? But when you first pick a center, you're still conflicted, like, oh, I hope it was the right choice. And, and so pictures of your child who are happy and engaged, like you said, nothing really solidifies your business like that picture of that happy child engaged with their friends and their caregivers. I mean, talk about, marketing, like you said, I think probably the reel that I've ever had that had the most likes was literally me just walking in the center, because I am an on-site childcare owner, walking in the center, and like 50 kids came running up to me saying, "Good morning." Literally, it wasn't planned. I literally was just walking in. The teacher was, I think, on her tablet, and she was taking pictures. And I just happened to walk in. She pulled it up, and the kids just like, and they were so happy. It was literally my most liked reel ever. Not even planned. So
that's the part about marketing, right?
Yeah,
it doesn't have to be this super. We will get in our heads about what needs to go out.
Yeah.
And so we don't need to have this super, a photographer and these lightings and, scripts and all that. Just remember that you as a childcare owner, the teachers, the environment, your culture is the content.
Mm-hmm.
And so once you realize that, it's a very easy pivot to start to do marketing. That's it. It's not, you don't need to, I do have a marketing agency that I market for childcare facilities.
Mm-hmm.
You don't necessarily need me if you're willing to get your phone together every day.
Yeah. The other thing I think too is it should be organic, like you said, and you have the content, but make yourself a content calendar, because like anything else, right? Robin's like, all right, Erica, tell him. But listen, like anything else, if you don't write it down, don't have a plan, it don't happen, right? And that's where that consistency comes. And if you think you can only post 2 days a week, that's okay. But make it consistent. Monday, Friday, you're going to say what's going on at the beginning of the week. And on Friday, you're going to give a recap. That works too. But make sure that you have some type of plan, consistency. Think about, what is your brand? What are you trying to say? What are you trying to convey? Again, write it on a napkin. I don't care, but have a plan.
That's tough, because the biggest thing that any childcare center or any childcare program, classroom should do is the same thing we do with our classrooms. We have a schedule, we have a lesson plan. We essentially have a strategy of what we're looking to do. And so, I have a strategy that is kind of generic, and that could be something that, you can share with your listeners. I'll look to send it to you, but it's real simple. Create awareness, consideration for what you're doing, get them to a decision point, and then keep repeating the process. One thing that I've noticed for hiring teachers through the funnel that we use, I only spend about $300 a year. No, I'm sorry, $300 a month for marketing for teachers, but I do that all year round.
Mhm.
So my pipeline for hiring teachers is always running because someone's going to call you, or they're going to get upset, or they're going to get mad at me for doing operating procedures and not telling them you can't be on your cell phone.
Mhm.
And then they're not going to come back to work, or they're going to leave at lunch, not
Mhm.
come back. And so you don't want to get caught waiting on someone to try to find the teacher. And then you realize, I have no teacher. So
Mhm.
guess who's the new teacher? Me. And so that's the things that we have to fight for, and being prepared for it. And marketing is a phenomenal tool if we can structure a strategy. Is always helpful.
Yeah. And so going back to what you're saying about using your media to attract teachers too, is when you're taking that content, get pictures of your teachers who are happy doing what they like to do, right? Your teachers are usually very happy to be part of your social media campaign, right? So video, and you're right too, video sells. Like, get some video testimonials of your teachers and roll that. Maybe if you have 12 teachers, you spotlight one a month. And let them talk about how long they've been with you, what they love about your team, what they love about your culture, what they love about your center. And I know, a lot of the things that we're talking about are not a secret, right? These things aren't a secret. I think we bring them up because we can get very easily sucked into the day-to-day operations of our businesses. And I'm an on-site owner. So I am preaching because I know, because I lived it. I was in a classroom today. I helped cover lunches, right? So I get it, guys. I get it. So sometimes you will miss things that really will help keep your business, not even grow your business. Right now, some of you are not in growth phase. Some of you are in survival phase. So let's get you to a point where you can breathe a little bit and have adequate staffing, have adequate, families and income coming in, so that way you can do what you were called to do, So if this helps in some way.
Well, what I would say from a marketing perspective, the easy moves and that anyone can start from, I'm going to do about 3 things that have subcategories. A website, that's 1. A blog on your website, that's 2. 3, pick the social media channels that you're going to visit and that you visit when you're just doing your mind scroll and you're looking through everything. Whatever those are, do those, and you can manage. From a website perspective, you can go ahead and call someone from Upwork or from Fiverr and get someone from the Philippines to make your website. You're able to, with social media, you can post on your phone. It'll be quick. You can do a video and you can get your word out that way. And the blogs, that if you have the time to write a blog appropriately or even use ChatGPT, I'm going to say do that. And it's a phenomenal thing for your business from a local SEO perspective. Those 3 areas, Jess, and if you say, I don't know what I'm doing, trust me, as long as words aren't misspelled, no one's going to really be mad and you're going to be okay.
Yeah. Let's dig a little bit deeper on the website.
Okay.
So you can get somebody to design it for you. How do you know what you need on there? Can talk a little bit about that. What you need on there, and then making sure that it, again, so maybe some more SEO tips. You definitely said that, the blog or vlog is one. Because I find that I have seen folks design websites, but they don't necessarily have good SEO. Yeah, so let's talk about that. I have a phenomenal website that I paid a lot of money for. And when I always tell the truth here. I paid a lot of money for it. And when I tell you that this website has paid for itself 1 trillion times over, it has. I would say that was the one place that I hate to say I went all in, and I get about 10 to 12 leads a day from my website.
That's major.
I know.
Hold on. That's major.
Yeah. So, but I paid for it. I haven't even changed it. It's been pretty much the same for the last 7 years, and it works. It works. They did a great job. So that's where I would say, that and investing some of your free time into the Yelp and the search engines, do the things you can, do the, the updates with the photos and stuff. But go ahead and share your knowledge. I'm going to shut up now.
So, no, you're fine. So the website, it's going to be for SEO aspects. I'll start there. For SEO, it really comes down to where you are in your city or town. You want to talk about that. And what are the things going on in your city or town that can relate to your business? So updates about, or things that say, you could have on your website a area of things to do in the area. And so you talk about the local park. The local park may have a festival on the first day of every month or something to that extent. That is local information that if no one goes to your website or doesn't know, they can still find out about it because you have the ability to then Google it. If someone Googles you and says, oh, what's in New Hampshire and around this area, they may find this childcare center is talking about this park and that they have a festival every so often. And so you want to think of 5 miles, 10 miles from your facility. And that is the things you want to talk about on as much as possible and much as possible on your website. So some advertising agencies and marketing agencies will say, oh, we do on-page SEO, and they want to make it sound all fancy. All they're talking about is some keywords such as childcare near me, and we're long tail keywords where they're saying childcare center near this area or that area. So those help when someone else is searching to find you and your website. And then they find your website, it brings them to a question that says, hey, you want information or can you like to contact us? And then you would now have your 12 or so leads a day based off of that SEO process. Did I go off topic a little bit?
No, you're good. No, you're good. I was listening to what you were saying. And this is kind of something too that I myself have started to work on, not for my website, because I leave that definitely to my website folks, but for my YouTube channel. I've been really thinking about the tag, how can I get the information? And same thing even with the podcast, right? So we use this in multiple ways, right? We're using it on our website. We're using it on podcasts. We're using it on our YouTube, and again, because we want everything to be found in the search engine. Because at the end of the day, that's really what you're ultimately trying to do is get found in a search engine. What are some other ways that programs can market?
So one way that is a phenomenal, easy way is through the USPS, Every Door Direct Mailer. And so if you sit down and have the time and the printer ink that will go into it, you can go to Office Depot. There's 2 ways of doing the Every Door Direct Mailer. So the ones that when you go to your mailbox and you get these flyers and pamphlets that come out. So you can pay a company. And if you pay a company, you will get a super perfect, glossy front, back. It's just makes you want to it is lovely. But it's going to cost you about $1.50 per sheet or per parcel. If you then say, I don't want to spend $10,000 on these parcels, I'm going to go and get the best printer I have. I will also get some cardstock and print that yourself. Follow the instructions on USPS. It will cost you 15 cents per parcel. You can plan to put it to one, if you want to get volume, you go to a apartment building and you can see the route that has that apartment building. So you can just do, if there's 300 people in that apartment building, you can make 300 parcels or 300 pieces of mail for that one apartment building and give it to the post office. And that may cost you $70. So that's an easy, quick thing that doesn't take a lot of money. It will take a little bit of labor. I know I just did one that was 3,000 parcels, but I'm going for a large area. And, I went to 3 different post offices because they're in the different areas and gave it to them. They went and made sure it was correct. My one suggestion is pay online. Don't pay there. Pay online. Because if you pay online, they're going to fix your issue and make sure that says, oh, you did this wrong, but you already paid. So we'll adjust it they'll write it out and fix it. If you don't pay, if you pay there, it's going to be something where they say, go back and do it later. So pay online. That was my only one thing that gave me a big headache a long time ago.
Okay. What do you think about email marketing?
Email marketing for parents is tough. It can be like, so I'll say this, for my current parents and my past parents, I have about a 15,000 email marketing campaign that goes out. So I constructed and built a automation that sends out by age of the child activities for that child's age. So when the child turns 2, they get a different set of emails. And for me, it's a set it and forget it model. So I have children on here that left the program, may have moved out or moved from us, but are still getting a cadence of every week they get one email from me. So that has brought other parents back, and that's great. I have not seen success from emailing parents that I do not know. Now having a newsletter where different marketing materials goes out, and they sign up for the newsletter, that's something that they want to see. So then that brings awareness, and then they have consideration to then say they have a decision point to make, and you can put a call to action to go from there.
Yeah.
But from the perspective of email marketing parents that are truly cold,
Yeah.
I haven't seen success in that arena.
Yeah. So I probably agree with you on the cold part. So I feel like a lot of centers where they maybe lose some money or leave money on the table, I should say, in my experience, what I have seen is, one, it took you a lot of time and effort and money that we're talking about right now to market. Then someone calls you, you don't answer the phone. No, don't laugh at me, Robert. You know, it's all right. Or two, I can't tell you how many families tell me they email centers and no one gets back to them because your center's full. And so you're like, well, I don't have room for babies, and you don't. Yeah, right. I can't tell you how many families thank me. I can't tell you. And I do manage my wait list. Manage your wait list, because I'm going to tell you another thing that happens. Nobody can really wait a year. Let's be honest. You have a year-long wait list for an infant. No one can wait a year. But here is what happens. If you stay in touch with that family, and yes, they found another program down the road, but they don't really love it, and that wasn't their first choice. You were. And now you reach out and say, now I have an opening. If they're not happy, guess where they're going? They're going right to you. But if you never reached out to them, they wouldn't know that that opening has come about. And so they're still sitting at a place that they're not really in love with, right? Or it's just kind of, they don't hate it, because if you don't really love it, but you don't hate it, you might just stay there to stay there. But if you have an opportunity to move your child to the first choice, and now they have an opening, a lot of times that will happen. And let me just tell you, mark these dates down on your calendar, because you got to be aware. January, June, September. Pay attention not only to your wait list and what you have openings, pay attention to make sure you don't lose your customers. Because we talk a lot about enrollment. Take care of the customers you have. I say it every time we talk about marketing. I mean it with every fiber of my body. Take care of who you have. That's the number one secret. Take care of who you have. If you do that, all the success will come. It will. Your enrollment will stay there. Your parents can sell your program like no one else. You can say whatever you want. My program is the best. But when a parent says it to somebody they don't know on a playground, I promise you, that holds more weight than any reel, post, email, postcard, or any of the other things we're talking about here. When they meet a parent,
is going to be the best thing. I mean, always, if you have someone saying, hey, they're the best childcare center I've ever had. I had a grandmother, a mother at the time, who her grandchildren now are old enough to have a child, and they do. They said, I know where my child's going. Mm-hmm. And so they said, going to Cadazzo. They travel maybe 20 miles outside of their way to and from. So 10 miles outside, but it's not convenient. but that's where they want to go, and they will sell it better than I ever could.
Mm-hmm.
So you're 100% correct on that.
Yeah. Robin, how long have you been in the field?
This has been a family-owned business since 1994. I've been actively involved since 2004.
Okay. So yeah, so you've had that experience. You've had that experience, I'm sure. So especially if you've had school-age kids. So when I started 25 years ago, I started with school-age kids, as I had mentioned when we had talked prior. Those kids are now in their 30s. I have so many kids who I had their parents as students. And so if you're in the field a long time, let me tell you, those babies, you take care of those babies, they bring their babies back to you because they trust you, right? They trust you, and they know what they're going to get. It's not an unknown. So, just take care of your people. That's my point for the day, right? All these tips are super helpful to get people who don't know you to your door. Once they get to that door, you know what you got to do.
Yeah.
Do the right thing. Yeah. So let's talk about collaborations and partnerships. How can folks, collaborate with local places? I know you had mentioned some, putting in the vlog and stuff like that, but let's talk about some like organic person to person type of collaborations. Have you done any of those? Talk to me a little bit about that.
From a person to person aspect, I can't say that our organization has. So what one client that I market for, they have 9 childcare centers, and he also owns gas stations. And so his synergy internally is that he has different things for children inside the convenience store for the gas stations. So that's an aspect of it. And you can use that from a partnership if you think of your local football team or your community football league or your community soccer league, or those things where you're actually saying, hey, I'm going to give $200 to the league. It may not seem like a lot, but that may buy balls, nets, things like that they're not thinking about. And you're a part of the community. You say, hey, I got 4 of them in my after school program. You may end up getting 7 or 8 that are now in your after school program, because they'll say, hey, look, we're going to pick them up all from here. Mm-hmm. And now it's a synergy where you say, hey, the local community league is over at our program, and we are right across the street from a park or something to that extent. So being open to just, to a certain extent, helping, but also letting people know that you're here, you're a part of the community. And again, that 5 to 10 mile radius, that's going to really be who your community is, and from a local perspective. So
I love that. So yeah, I love that. So I'm going to give 2 real life examples and exactly what you're saying. So 2, one, we sponsored a soccer team for literally 7 years, and all the kids on the team, when you sponsor the team, your company's name is on that shirt. So for 8 weeks, I had a whole bunch of kids running around with my company name on their shirt. And then there's our local baseball field, and it's gated in. And so as parents are sitting at the field, each business could buy a board. Not only did I buy a board, I bought the board on the gate. So when you pull in, the very first board you see is mine. And when they lock the gate at the end of the night, it's my board. It's like you're rolling into my park. But things like that keep your name top of mind. And I mean, how many kids are going into a baseball field during baseball season or on a soccer field every Saturday, right? Even if they're not on that team, everybody they played, seeing that shirt. So, and again, like you said, at the end of the day, we're also giving back to the community and helping them out. They take that money, like you said, to buy balls or take care of the field, those kinds of things. But, partner with your community for sure is a great way to advertise, but it's also a great way to give back to community. So I think our field just naturally lends itself to that type of collaboration for sure.
Well, the other part is that it's also, you could look at the coach, and the coach is looking for more players.
Mm-hmm.
And so the coach coming in doing if it's a baseball or a soccer, they could come in and do an after school day with your after schoolers and start recruiting. So you start creating that synergy, saying, hey, I got 4 or 5 children that are already here, which is a benefit. And then you got to realize that from a marketing perspective, it brings an additional layer to, if you put down and set up a marketing strategy, this is awareness. And you may not see the dollar return the next day, but if you look at it from an aggregate of over 7 years, how many children and how many infants did you get from that? Because, they're a baseball or a soccer family and they see your logo 8 weeks, twice a day. They're seeing it and say, well, no, I need childcare. I know this one. Oh, the one at the baseball field. They're going to give that a call.
Yeah. So I know you said you really love automation and kind of setting it and forgetting it kind of thing. Talk a little bit about that. Are there any tools that you suggest or any strategies around that, especially for some folks who aren't super tech savvy and can't figure out how to fix the speakers on their computer? Those kinds of folks.
Well, so you talked about not parents, but childcare owners leaving money on the table. So I use a CRM system referring to as Go High Level. And it can be a little bit of a scary thing to start out, but there is features on there that if a parent calls in or emails or something happens that you're communicated and you're in the classroom and you can't get there, there could be automation in place to reach back out to that parent and or that person, and then let you know that, hey, they called, they're interested or they need a conversation. That will then kick out another process for you to check off or go through. So most of my centers that I advertise and market for, they love the automated and AI conversation bot. If someone calls from a cell phone, the AI bot actually starts having a conversation with them if the cell phone is missed. And you've experienced my AI.
I have. I'm like, is this you, Robert, or is this the bot?
Like, no, it's not me, it's the bot. Sorry. And so that can bring them to a point of making an appointment on a calendar. And so if they get the appointment on the calendar, then they now are coming in because we have to be more than what we are, but we only have what we have to move forward. So, if you're able to use technology to then capture parents, and even to a point where it just says, hey, you got an email that was not responded to, or you got a phone call that was not responded to, give them a call. So that because if you don't have an answer machine, and who checks their answer machine nowadays, those things all play into it. So there's a bunch of automations out there. I could sit here for hours talking about the different tools you can use.
Can you give us maybe your top 3 favorite?
Okay. So High Level, which is for the CRM automation. I would look at, from a technology perspective, I would because I don't want to go too geeky. I want to do something that's actually realistic.
Sure.
I would also look at, everybody using ChatGPT. So, and then you can look into Hootsuite. When it starts getting automation, you go with what you like. There is even automation on Facebook where they have a conversation bot on Facebook that you can use. So realize that some of the things that we already use, you don't need to have a really big tool to actually justify it, but you may need to do a little research and go to the YouTube University, and it'll work you through how to work if you're running ads. Facebook has a conversation bot on their platform already that you can use to say it will respond, and you can give it a command to say, if you answer yes, then it's if and statement. So if this is the answer, do this, and that's something that is also available for you. So a lot of the platforms are going to AI and internal automation, which is something you can do from your phone.
Yeah. We just talked about a lot about marketing as we start to wrap this up. Talked a lot about marketing. How should childcare providers track their marketing efforts, and what key metrics should they focus on to ensure the strategies are working?
That is a fun task if you like the analytics. So it all starts with your platforms and your digital assets. So for you, you have your website. Your website more than likely is sending you updates and forms or responses from what people answered on your website. So now you know that if someone finds you and fills out a form, the question is, how much did you spend to get them there? So the two sides of the coin is this. You have organic, which I'm really a big organic person regarding enrollment, because it's great when someone finds you naturally because they're looking for that. So my organic is not super expensive. It's more so telling people about what you do as much as possible and really telling social media platforms. Now, for finding special programs, like if you have your pre-K program where you have to find a particular age, or if you're looking to hire someone, then I recommend you do a paid program where that goes into your return on ad spend, or your ROI on that says, I spent $200 on this week of advertisement. Now, what did I receive? If I got 10 applicants, then they all cost $20. So per lead, it cost me $20. And then is that one person worth it? Now, once and then you look at your teachers who you spent time, energy, and training and hours on, to have to retrain someone that you lost, sometimes it's easier to maybe give $1 increase and to make them happy, or, but if they're on the $10 increase, well, we may have to talk about it. So those are the ways that you can, do things organically. You can do things on a paid option, and you can track it by how much time and energy you're putting out to get a result. And that's where it comes down to.
Okay. You really don't need a lot of money, especially I feel like if you do a lot of the things that you talked about here, which 95% of them are free, or pretty close to it, you don't really have to spend a lot of money. And I'm in a high competition area. There's literally 5 childcare centers within, blocks from each other. Literally blocks. You don't have to spend a lot. I don't think other than my website, I haven't spent money on advertising in 5 years. I don't have to spend it all.
And most childcare centers don't have necessarily a problem with enrollment.
Yeah.
There may be some that in their area have a problem with enrollment, but what I've found is that either folks who have a problem with enrollment may not have a website, may not have any type of presence. Even their website may have been made for children, not for adults. And so from a website perspective, like someone was telling me, why does it look all fun? I said, well, I'm marketing to parents. I'm not marketing to the children. And so that's one thing to look at as well. Their website may not speak to or talk about things from a local perspective and talk about childcare. And even though I hate the wording, which is daycare, because we don't take care of days, but daycare is still one of the number one marketing number wording that people look at. So you have, in your marketing that you put out, you need to put in daycare near me or daycare. Those are going to be key to making sure you're found organically across the board. So it could be a multitude of reasons, but enrollment usually, if you have a quality program and you have people who talk about your program, I've found that enrollment is not the main issue.
Okay. All right. So for those of you who are still interested in finding out more information about marketing and would like to connect with Robert, tell them a little bit about how they can get a hold of you.
So Old Might, BULLMIGHT, is my marketing agency. And anyone who's having troubles with their marketing, we have a beta program. And that beta program is 30 days. We look to increase your Google My Business rankings. We try to get you in the top Google Pack. And the Google Pack is when you search anything, it's top 3 listings. Usually there's an 85% increase in awareness and phone numbers called from that process, and that is free. We usually have a cap of 10 a month. And if you were not happy, you don't like our results, go ahead and enjoy your benefits from it. If you do, you want to continue on, then we can have that conversation. But that is one way to reach out. I'll actually give you my email. You can put it in there as well. And I tempted to give you my cell phone, but I realized you have a lot of subscribers. So, but no, bulllight.com is the website. And we look to, honestly, I look to help childcare centers as much as possible. I think my mentors have told me my pricing is too low. And I said, that's fine. Cause I know, childcare centers are struggling across the board. It is, I have it equate to, I should be able to pull in one new child for you and at least maintain that. And that is around my cost. So yeah, it's usually less than one child, per month. So we look to increase 1 to 5 children per month. And then we also help you with hiring funnels to keep your recruiting and your hiring pipeline. And I really am big on you holding and maintaining control of your digital assets. So even from if you run ads and you have a Facebook pixel, you own the pixel. We set up your information so you control it. Your Facebook and digital marketing pages or your social media pages, we may add them to our CRM and put a whole bunch of content, but they're yours. So if you don't happy with the service, you still have that. Do not let a marketing agency have and control your digital assets, please. It is the worst thing ever.
Right.
Yeah, every time I get some of that, they said this and did that, and they did all this work, and then they own it, and you can't get a hold of it, or you can't get access to that Facebook page. We end up making new pages and just starting over from scratch because they don't control, as much as we are control freaks, us childcare folks, we are not controlling the digital assets that we should. And so that is one thing I would really advocate for, say, hey, control your assets. And if they don't want to do it, find someone else. So, because they will hold you hostage, say, well, we can't give you that pixel. We can't give you your website back. We control and we own that. So yeah, that would be how you can get me in my personal, I guess, pet peeves, I would say, for the marketing agency.
All right. And we'll put your Instagram info in the link below as well, so that folks can reach out to you there. So our friends that are still listening, first of all, I want to say thank you so much. I love you guys. You literally tune in day after day after day. I'm going to keep showing up. If you keep showing up, I'm going to keep showing up for you. Where to listen? Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, of course, YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. It really makes a difference. So as always, remember, it's the small details that make a big impact on the success of your childcare business. And as always, have a great day. Bye.
Well, all the cute little kiddos have been picked up and it's time to go home. And that'll do it for another episode of the Childcare Director's Chair. Please leave a review so Erica knows the information is helping you to manage and improve your childcare centers. Remember to subscribe to get the latest episode from Erica's Childcare Director's Chair.